G'day, welcome back to another episode of Togl. My name's Jason and my wife Kayleen and I have moved to northwest Tasmania. We're hoping to establish an off-grid lifestyle on our 300 acres. This is our journey. Anyway, today I've just popped down to Wynyard, which is to the west of Burnie. We're going to the Yola Co-op. They've got their annual field day today. As you can see, the weather isn't the greatest. We've already had a bit of rain. It's very wintry, very windy and cold. But yeah, we'll go into the Yola Co-op day, and this is where I get most of the stuff for the farm from. And we'll see what's on offer. It's the first time I've been to an open day, one of their field days. So not sure what to expect. But yeah, if it looks interesting in there, there's lots to see. I'll do some filming. I'll show you. Well, it's definitely getting colder up here. We had a fair bit of rain last night and early this morning. Went to the field day yesterday. As you saw, I didn't bother filming anything in there. Everything had been pushed indoors because of the rain, and it was pretty much just a lot of the different vendors with their tables and brochures and whatnot. It was very crowded in there, so yeah, it really wasn't worth me filming. I got some really good information out of it, don't get me wrong, but yeah, probably not of that much interest to those of you sitting at home in your lounge rooms. Anyway, today what I want to do is I want to get a big fence started. I won't say put up, it won't get done today, but I'm going to get started. I want to make a big dog run up here so that I can start bringing the dogs up with me when I'm up here working. One of the things that I need to do is I need to get rid of that big pile of branches behind me. That was going to be a bonfire when Ness and Tiff and that were here. We just never got the time to do it, so I'm actually going to set fire to that today, get that burning down. It is very wet around here, so I think it's a good time to do it. So I'll get rid of that, and then the reason will be that that's going to be in the middle of the big dog run that I put up. So time to get started. We'll see how we go, see how much I get done today. Well, there she goes. It's mainly leaves, so it'll burn off really fast. And then I'll just cut a bit more of this off of the old tree that came down and feed that over to there too, just to get rid of all that. Not even really putting up much smoke, a little bit of ash, but not even much smoke, so it's burning off nicely. That won't take long to get rid of that at all. Well, it's the end of the day. Sun's almost down, so that's going to have to be a wrap from me for now. Got a lot done this afternoon. Quite happy. The weather held out considering how rainy it was this morning. So I'll just show you what I managed to get done. We've got quite a lot of the end of that tree is now gone. If you recall earlier this morning, that's about where the end was, right there. So all this area here, I just managed to get rid of all that. And well, there's nothing much left of that pile or the extra stuff that I cut off either. Managed to get a couple of posts ready for the dog run tomorrow, so I'm just charring off the ends like you saw us do with the camp kitchen. So I'll probably spend another 20 minutes or so getting those charred, and then I'll get them out. Tractor's over there. I'll have to put that to bed in a second, get the cover over it just in case we get some more rain tonight. And I went up and fed the cows as well. So yeah, productive afternoon. Pretty happy with all of that. Anyway, I'll be back up here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning I'll show you more of what I'm doing, because I'll be putting in the posts and getting the fence run and whatnot, hopefully. This afternoon, bit of chopping up that stuff. Really wasn't worth watching. You've seen me do that before. But anyway, stand by. You'll see me up here in just a second. Well, there you go. That didn't take too long, did it? Well, it's the next day. It's actually a little later than I expected. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. Obviously it's not 1:30 in the morning, is it? So it's 1:30. I had a few errands and stuff that I needed to take care of this morning, so I got up here a little bit later. But task for today, I just need to cut 2 more posts out of all this wood behind me, get them charred. I've just kicked off the fire over there. It's still a bit smoky. just trying to get it going. Fueled up the tractor because she was getting pretty empty. And then hopefully I can get some post holes dug and maybe even get a couple of the posts put in this afternoon. We'll see how we go. I've still got a few hours of daylight left. What I don't get done today, I'll be back up here tomorrow. Let's see how we go. Well, it's 4 o'clock. Progress has been tediously slow. I've managed to get 2 logs. I've got that log there, which I've still got to strip the bark off the end that I'm going to char. And I've got that log there. That fire was going really well. Unfortunately, it burned itself practically out before I managed to get the logs ready. I thought I'd have the logs quicker, but not to be. So I've thrown some extra wood on, we'll get that fire flashed up, get these ends charred, and then that should be a day. I might actually get 1 or 2 of those holes dug as well. I may as well. While those logs are burning, I can get a couple of holes dug ready for tomorrow. So that'll probably be about it for today. I'll be back up here tomorrow and then we'll start putting the fence together. Morning. Well, it's a bit of a overcast, gloomy morning this morning. So yesterday I got those logs finished charring and I managed to get 2 holes done. So I've got the 1 hole just behind me. There it is. That's 1 corner. Now just the corner down that way is actually going to be one of those trees. I'm going to use one of those trees as the post. And then looking over the back here, I did get another post hole done down there and I've just got the tractor in place ready to do the last 2. So I realized I didn't need 5 posts. I actually only needed 4, given that I'm going to use one of those trees as a post. It's 4 corners, but where I put the gate, I need that extra post. So, and that's a good thing because one of those posts is pretty ratty anyway, so I don't think I'll use it. It was a bit crooked and whatnot. Anyway, I'll set this up. We'll get the last 2 holes dug and then I can start putting posts in. You see me doing something at the bottom of the corkscrew in just a sec. The grass up here is so thick that it clogs up the teeth on the corkscrew and then it won't dig into the dirt. I had to get down and pull the grass out so that I could, so it would keep on digging. You can probably see in the video how it looks like the post hole digger is flipping left and right. I've tried changing the angle, as you can see. Maybe gravity's pulling it off to one way or the other, but it still seems to bounce around a lot. I've got to work out how I can tighten up the whole frame so that it doesn't tend to swing around and bounce around, because all that does is make the hole bigger than I really want it to be. Okay, so the holes are dug. So all 4 holes are done. So those 2 that are close together there, one will be the corner post, the other will be the post to swing the gate off. The gate will go in that corner. And I've got one over in the other corner, one down in the back corner, and as I said, the other one is actually a tree that I'm going to wrap around. Not a huge tree, but it will continue to grow. It'll hold fine. So now I just got to get these posts moved over and stood up. What I'll do, because the holes are quite large compared to the post, is I'll put rocks in around it as well, in stages. So rocks, then dirt, rocks, and the rocks will help it so that the post can't move around inside the hole as much, especially once I start putting tension on it with the wire. Anyway, let's get these posts into place. Alright, so the posts are in. I've just stood them up. I just went down over the back. If you remember a few episodes ago, or quite a few episodes ago, when I dinged up all the slasher blades. That was down over the back over there. It's a really rocky area, so I needed to get rid of those rocks. Kill two birds with one stone. I've started digging out those rocks, and I'll use those rocks to put in around these posts. So I'm clearing up that area at the same time as putting up this fence, so it always helps save time that way. But there's still more down there. I'll see how many loads of rocks that I need to get around these posts. All right, so you can see I've put this there's quite a large rock here that I've put in. I've pushed the post up against the sidewall, which sidewall is not moving anywhere. Big rock in there, jammed it down, putting dirt in like this, getting the hammer or the mallet, really packing it down in there hard. Over on this other side where it's a little bit skinnier, and use the end, really ram that earth in there, jam it all down, pack it really, really hard. So I've done that. Now I'm going to put another rock in. I'll jam that across, and then I might get a smaller rock for in there. You got some smaller ones here. I've got some smaller bits here. I think that one will fit in there nicely like that. And then just more dirt in and around, making sure that it gets in nice and tight. I don't want any of this to move. Like I said, especially once the strain of the wire gets on it, it needs to be packed in there nice and hard. A little bit of extra time now to make sure it's all in good and pay dividends in the long run. This next post is a little bit heavier, so what I've done is I've got it in place, and then I've lifted the end just into the bucket. Theory is I'll use the bucket to lift up one end, hopefully the other end will drop into the hole. We'll see how we go. Not quite. I'm not sure if you can tell. It's probably out of focus, out of view a little bit, but it actually went to the back of the hole and stood up on the edge. I'm going to have to push that log in at the base. It should drop into the hole. See, here we go. Too easy. Well, it's 1:45 and I've managed to get the posts in, have a bit of lunch, and the sun's trying to poke its head out. You can see that there's the 2 posts over there. There's that 1 post right down the back. The fence will then come right over. It'll go around one of those trees just in there behind those rolls of wire. And there's my other post right there. What I am going to do though is I'm just going to go and grab the ladder, and then I'm going to measure up onto these 2 posts over here. What I thought I might do is put a cross beam on it before I run the wire. It'll just give these 2 posts that little bit extra support, especially this one on the right, because it's only going to have tension on it in one direction, which would be to the right. So if I put a cross beam up the top and screw that down, A, it'll look good, but B, it'll just make this structure a little bit stronger when supporting the wires. So I'll get that done, and then I can start stringing up some wire. Okay, so this is the log I'm going to use as the top bar. I've put a notch in here with a chainsaw. I'll put a notch in on this end as well. They're both 7 inches in, which is a little bit more than what the width of the top of each log is. Now what I'll do, use the hatchet and a hammer, just like a big chisel really. Just take the end off to give me a flat spot, so that it'll sit up on top of that post nicely. Not that the top of the post is dead flat, but it's probably going to be too hard to try and cut them level as well. They're on a bit of an angle when I'm up the post. It'll hold together, and I'll just make some big bolts through it. Probably make good roof shingles. So I've got a bit of a knot here causing it to cut crooked. We're back on the block for another day. The battery ran out last night, so before I was finished, so I didn't get to show you what I actually did yesterday afternoon before I went home. I went around, I put all the star pickets in for the remainder of the fence. Now for those who haven't seen it, this is the best thing for putting in star pickets. Basically all you need to do is you slide this over the star picket, obviously before you've put it in, and then get it into position, and then it's just a simple case of, and that'll ram your star picket in. It's a lot easier than trying to do it with a hammer, especially on the tall ones. So yeah, these are worth their weight in gold. Anyway, I'm ready to start putting the wire up, so I'm going to get that started right now. So to show you how I tie this wire on, basically I do a wrap around onto the inside, like that, and then a couple of wraps on the outside of where that touches. So just go one. It's easier if you've got a longer piece of wire, but like a longer end, but I'm conserving wire at the moment, so that'll have to do it. And that should hold up nice, and I'll keep that tag pointing out. The dogs will be on the inside, so I keep that tag pointing out. And then it's just a matter of doing that around each one. So again, on the inside like that, come to the outside, and then once, twice, might pull that in, wrap that, incorporate it in as well, just to hold it tight. Ah, get on there, keeps finger slipping off. There we are, that one can stay pointing back like that, and then just keep working my way down. Now with tension on this wire, this shouldn't ride up and down on the post, but just to be sure, because I'd hate for it to ride up and then the dogs get underneath, I'm just going to put a couple of little tacks on some of these wires. And just make sure that it stays in place. Then we'll go down the other end and we'll put some tension on it. I hate putting these little nails in. I'll probably use bigger ones, but I had these handy, so that's what it's going to be. Oh, for Christ's sakes. Where are you? Get in there. Oh, like I said, I hate putting these things in. They are so awkward, especially the little ones. There we go. It's away.
I'll go every second one, I think. Like getting the engine started in the morning. First you take a bit, once you get your eye in, you're away.
So I'm just doing every second wire. That should be plenty. Alright, so I've got the wire run down to this first post. Now normally to put the tension on, you would have a special clamp. It's like 2 bars that clamp either side of the wire. You drop pins in and it just holds the entire width of the wire so that you can then pull on it and get tension, and normally you'd pull on it with a backhoe or something. Now I haven't got one of those, so I thought if I get these ratchet straps and wrap them around the roll of wire, I should be able to slowly put on enough tension to tension up the wire and hopefully not damage the roll of wire. So let's see if this works. That's working pretty damn good. That's definitely enough tension on that. I'm pretty happy with that. Now all I got to do is just nail it off.
Have I said how much I hate these nails? If anyone knows a trick to getting these in easier, just put a comment down below. Oh, for Christ's sakes. Right, one in. going to do every wire on this one because it's now under tension. I don't want that tension being lost. I keep that tension on the wire. Maybe the wood's too hard. It has been charred after all, so I know that tends to make the timber harder, but some of these nails are really starting to bend. Or I should probably get bigger nails. You'd think just give them a smack really hard would work, but they tend to shoot off in all directions when you do that. So, as Happy Gilmore would say, just tap it in.
Well, that's it for this week. My half an hour with you is up already. Goes quick, doesn't it? So you're just going to have to wait until next week's episode to see me finish off the dog run. Thanks very much for watching. Share, like and subscribe. If you've got any feedback, leave them in the comments below. I appreciate that. And otherwise, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Cheers.